There are three things very important in your life which we should never compromise, which we should never ignore at any point in life. The first and the most important is your family, right? The people around you, the people who are dependent on you, be it your team members, be it your family members, your husband, your spouse, your parents, your in-laws. Please do take care of them, right? They need your time, they need your attention. While you are being busy, you are building something. We all know that you're doing it for them, but then it is very important, to listen to them, to be around them, to spend that quality time with them.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of the People Hum interview series. This is your host Anushka at Leaders Hum. People Hum is an end-to-end OneView integrated human capital management automation platform, the winner of the 2019 Global CODI Award for HCM, that is specifically built for crafted employee experiences and the future of work. We run the People Hum blog and video channel, which receives more than 400,000 visitors a year, and we also publish several interviews with well-known names globally every month. We have with us today Lokamudra Priyadarshini, an innovative professional with over 14 years of well-rounded progressive experience in human resources through various assignments with reputed financial organizations. Lokamudra, our guest for today, is distinguished in developing business units successfully from seed stage to maturity. She's often been called upbeat and a self-motivated team player with excellent communication skills. She has the distinction of having introduced and streamlined HR policies, award-winning employee engagement, and diversity and inclusion practices successfully. She's a big fan of personal development and productivity. We're thrilled to have her today. Welcome to Leaders on Lokamudra.
Thank you so much, Anushka. It's a pleasure to be with your team, and I look forward to an insightful exchange of thoughts and conversation.
Thank you very much for taking out the time. The pleasure is absolutely ours. So, diving right deep into the interview, Lokamudra, the first question I really had for you was, do tell us about this great, phenomenal journey you've had into the HR domain, and what has your experience like been so far?
Sure, absolutely. In fact, this is the best part of any interview I attend, because it takes me back to my why. Why did I started this? Why did I, after all, chose HR to be a profession? And it takes me back to meet my 20, year old young self, who was so passionate, so dedicated, so full of energy to bring meaningful change in the lives of people. So I'll just keep very brief, my entire journey. So I will start from my childhood. I had a very humble upbringing, and my father being a scientist, and my mother being a social district welfare officer. I had this interesting combination of curiosity combined with kindness imbibing in my personality. And as I grew with these two, dominant characteristics in myself, I started getting very close to people, solving people's problem. Right from my school days till my college, I was the go-to person, whether it was related to their relationship, whether it was related to their career, educations, anything. Uh, I loved solving people issues, and that is where I felt, this is one area where I can work tirelessly and at the same time enjoy it. And that's how I chose to get into this field of human resources. I did my graduation in business administration, followed by my master's in the same field, specializing in HR. And then I landed on my first job as a management trainee. And then, yes, after that, there was no looking back. And very interestingly, uh, this entire 1.5 decades that I have spent in this field has helped me, or has been very evolving for me. It is not a one typical kind of an HR role which I had been doing. So thanks to the dynamics that I have been moving into this entire finance industry. So I think it has been a wonderful journey, and I'm still exploring, I'm still learning, and every day is a new day for for me, and I think for any other HR practitioner would certainly agree to this. So yes, it has been a terrific journey. There has had been a lot of, I will not use the word struggle, but yes, a lot of learning, unlearning, and relearning in this entire phase. So yeah.
Wow, that was great. Firstly, congratulations on the success of your phenomenal journey you've had so far. It's lovely to see how you combined your passion just to help other people with your profession in HR. That's incredible. And it's also great to see how you're still in the learning process and the journey of learning. It's really heartwarming. So thank you so much. And I'm really inspired by you, and I'm sure our audience are too. So thank you very much for that note of positivity.
Thank you. My pleasure. I think it's very important to combine your passion with your purpose. It is only then where you there will never be a day where you will be bored, or you will start thinking or exploring new things. Within the same sphere of your work, you can keep on reinventing yourself and see how can you bring your best version out each day. So yeah, thank you.
Great, great, Madhura. So going on to the next question, I really wanted to ask you, as someone with well-rounded progressive experience in the HR industry for about 14 years, would you say the patterns within the HR industry have changed, especially with the pandemic? Are there any shifts in approaches?
Yes. I'll restrict my answer to the financial services domain because largely I have observed or been part of this industry. While, I'll say the entire wheel of the employee life cycle or the HR process life cycles have not changed broadly. But yes, we have certainly removed and added new spokes to the whole wheel to ensure that it keeps on running smoothly to give a more enriching experience to our employees. Patterns, yes, a couple of patterns. While it is still evolving every day, there is a change, and change is the only constant we all know. But yes, 2 3 areas which I have very closely observed in my experience. One certainly being the change in the workforce dynamics, right? The kind of diversity that we have today in the workforce is phenomenal, right? You talk about gender diversity, you talk about cultural diversity, you talk about generational diversity. It's very interesting to see. And even I have also been part of meetings where it is very exciting to see where 4 generations are sitting together and exchanging their thoughts. So, as this is one area where I have seen a lot of new patterns emerging in terms of taking the leadership to the next level. Uh, Continuing to the similar pattern, another area where organizations are very keen on investing and looking into are the benefit sections, right? Because the workforce is changing, because the kind of people that are coming in, their needs, their aspirations are different. The benefit area, or the benefit package that is being offered to employees also has taken a very positive turn, right? Right now, if you talk about millennials, I think the first thing that they look for any organization is flexible working hours, telecommuting, childcare, benefits, which is very important for working parents right now. So they ask very upfront questions like, how much is your maternity leave, how much is your paternity leave, and what all crashes have you tied up with. So these are very important and critical questions to be addressed if we want to win the war for talent, right? And this is again, like as I said, one area where I have seen employees or employers are going out of their way, to ensure that they provide a lot of flexible benefits to their employees or the prospective candidates who want to join their work, and even their organizations who are going out of the extra mile. Like I think Goldman Sachs has introduced something, uh, mm, gender change surgery reimbursement, right, where they are encouraging their employees as part of their inclusion practices. So there are a lot of bold decisions and changes which organizations are bringing in, and I'm also proud to be part of an organization which is very active and keen in developing these benefits to ensure we attract and at the same time we retain the right talent with us. So yes, certainly benefits is another area where I've seen a lot of changes happening. And third, it will be very unfair if I don't talk about technology, because as rightly mentioned by you, in this entire 2020 was a very challenging, tough year for all of us globally, right? And a lot of things which were at the backstage have been pushed forward, thanks to some extent to the COVID, but yes, having said about technology, another emerging change which I have seen in HR domain is how we have started to use data analytics, right? Uh, Earlier, gone are the days when HR was only known for record keeping or maintaining or just having, the data for audit or for any other compliance purpose. Now, I think very interesting HR professionals, they are drawing insights out of the data. What they are seeing patterns coming out of that data, which in turn is helping them build their engagement platform, or to provide a more or a better experience to the employees. So yes, certainly I think analytics, HR analytics is one area where I'm seeing the use of the big data, or this lot of things, this AI or ML or IoT, a lot of things are being talked about. While those are technical, but from an HR perspective, how are we leveraging on the data that we have? It certainly is a new pattern and a trend that will help a lot of organizations. So yes, I think these are three key things which I have observed. While there are a lot, as an HR professional, I can keep talking about all the good things, but yes, I think the workforce, then the benefits which are being extended in terms of statutory, retirement, flexible, anything, and finally the data analytics. So these are the three main things which have taken a tectonic shift as compared to traditional HR.
Absolutely, I can't agree more with you. And it's really wonderful how you pointed the three main shifts out for our audience. It's very clear to understand, even for a layman. And I feel, as you said, there's no one size fit all solution these days. We need to be empathetic to each one's subjectivities, being in the HR field, and also loved the part where you said HR tech is more going to be an enabler and help HR than a replacer in human resources. So that's great. Thank you so much, Lopamutra. Going on to the next question, at work, you have introduced and streamlined award winning employee engagement practices. And I'm really intrigued, and I want to ask you that in an environment that is only going to be different post pandemic, how can leaders cautiously look after employee engagement?
Yeah. Thank you, Anushka, for asking this question. Uh, First of all, let me, demystify certain things around employee engagement. A lot of people and a lot of companies think employee engagement is all about having events, activities, or stuffs, fun stuffs being done for the employees. But no, employee engagement, what you see, that is just a tip of iceberg. There's a lot beneath that goes on, where the engagement persons or the HR practitioners or the business partners, whatever term you want to use, for these change makers, there is a lot that is being done, and the spotlight was never so bright until last year, where the entire focus and shift was on employee wellness, self-care. So yes, employee engagement is very, very, very critical if in order to have a cutting edge over your employers, over your competitors, sorry. Why? Because the market expectations are changing every day, right? Every passing day there is a new product or service up for sale, and while employees organizations are investing a lot in a lot of these resources to ensure they are upbeat, they have the latest technology. But one very critical aspect or asset which they should not forget in this whole journey is their employees or the people, because giving a good employee experience leads to better and better engagement leads to happy employees leads to happy customers, and at the end happy customers leads to happy bottom line or your P&L statements, whatever it is for business. So it is very, very important. But while I say it is important, it is also very crucial to see employee engagement from a more creative lens, right? You cannot present the old wine in a new bottle and say, hey, we have a new engagement model for you. No, the moment the employee tastes it, they will know, oh, yeah, it's that same old thing which they have been doing. So please don't do that mistake. You need to have a very creative approach when it comes to employee engagement. And the entire shift for leaders or for HR practitioners should be to move people from a transactional engagement to a transformational engagement, because that is where people start taking up ownership for their work. They start living the values of the brand that you have built in, and they start working towards the common vision or the goal that the company aspires to be. So yes, it is very important to have a very creative, to give a creative lens to your employee engagement, have more personalized and customized, as much as you can. Which by that I don't mean that for every individual you have a different set of engagement initiative, but yes, you need to relook at your satisfaction scores, numbers, and then try to, as I was talking about the data analytics, you need to see the patterns. Uh, Gone are the days where you just need to present the elevator analysis. This is going up, that is going down, but why it is going up, why it is going down, and while it is going up, what are the other variables that are affecting it? Or while it is going down, what are the other components that are adding fuel to this whole thing? So it's very critical to look at from a more creative side, have a more customized or personalized experience to your employees, and finally, give them a more unified experience, right? You can't have now with this digital workforce and distributed workforce everywhere, it is very important to bring everybody to one single platform. So it's very important to have one unified platform where you can connect them to learn, to engage, to share their experience. That's how you can lead your organization towards innovation, and innovation is the bloodstream for business growth and development. So yeah, that is my take on the engagement aspect to look into.
That was a very enlightening response. And thank you so much for that, because it makes so much sense now when you, especially when you said we need to do the shift from transactional to transformational. And I think that is really relevant now more than ever, especially with all this change and how quick and fast HR as a sub department has adapted to change. It's really noteworthy. And especially with remote workforce management strategies and tools that they've come up with, it's really great. So going on to the next question, Lokmudra, I really wanted to ask you, you've also helped leaders be more productive by mentoring and coaching them. So do you have any kind of generalized advice that you like to give for new age leaders so that organizations can really thrive better?
Uh, yes. So again, this is one area where I love about my job is coaching and mentoring or providing guidance to not only new age, but in general, managers, otherwise as well. Uh, I take a lot of pride in my own team. Okay, and a lot of people ask me how is it that you're able to build such a cohesive and collaborative team, and where it's not just I'm just not talking about operations as such, but HR in general. So here I'm sharing a small secret to all my viewers. I practice something called friendship. Okay, it is by Claudia Williams. This term, I in one of the TED talks, I saw it, and I really liked this whole concept and idea of friendship. So what does it say is it is a great combination of being a friend, mentor, and leader, right? So friend plus mentor plus leadership, that is how you need to build your equation with your people. Why? Because a friend never judges. A friend is always there to listen to you, to listen to your problem, irrespective of how small or big it is. A friend always goes an extra mile to ensure they help you with whatever capacity they have. So it is very important to build this element of friendship with your team. And yes, please don't take it literally, where you just go out and have a drink and then shout and do. No, that is not friendship. When I say you need to build friendship, it means you need to build that element of trust, you need to build that element of comfort with your team members. And once that is built, they start opening up, they start telling you about their problems, they start sharing their concerns, right? uh, Next is, as a mentor, now that that somebody has come to you, they are sharing their issues. As a mentor, it is very important that I help them understand what is their real strengths, right? What is their true potential. A mentor is not expert in every field, but yes, I can certainly help them know what they are good at, because I have learned it is a hell lot easier to leverage on your strengths than compensate for your weakness, right? So as a mentor, help them understand what is it that that they are really strong, they are good at. And then finally, as a leader, uh, you should help them unleash that potential, right? It is just not about telling, okay, you have told me I'm great in this, now what next? What am I supposed to do with this greatness, right? So you need to show them that path, you need to give them that platform, you need to give them the project or the work, the assignments, which will help them unleash that potential, and in turn help the organization also grow. So as employees or as people grow, as teams grow, organizations eventually grow. It is not the other way around. So yes, this is one thing that I would want everybody to be aware. And one very very important aspect which has helped me sail through this corporate career, and I'm sure it will help me in my future assignments as well, is curiosity. Like as I said in the beginning, I had this ingrained personality of being curious, and a lot of millions saw the apple fall, but it was only Newton who asked why. And we know what happened after that, right? So be curious, keep on asking why, because curiosity keeps the mind active. Curiosity leads to innovation. Curiosity makes you think, and when you think, you observe. When you observe, you act, and when you act, you bring change, right? So it is very very important to be curious, to keep on learning constantly. A title or a designation should not stop you from learning, right? As in the beginning I said, my entire journey has been all about learning, unlearning, and then again relearning. And that is how I have been able to take my career in the upper trajectory, right? So keep on learning, and uh, please do not have this I know it all attitude. This mindset kills a lot of talent. It might land you in a good job, but it will certainly not guarantee you a successful career. So yes, be curious, keep on learning, keep on evolving, reinventing yourself. And I think then everything becomes easy once you're curious, once you have answers to your questions. you remove a lot of biasness, you remove a lot of assumptions from your mind, you remove a lot of judgment that you associate, with people. So yes, be open to answers, explore opportunities, explore solutions, rather than playing the blame game or anything. So yeah, that is
That is great. That was such an fresh perspective that you provided us with. I don't think another influencer has really spoken on the concept of friendship and the need and the importance of being curious at work. Because, as you said, I think I completely agree with you that it's all a cascading effect, right? The more you're curious, the more you'll want to question things, the more you learn, and the more you'll be productive. And that's how organizations grow. So I completely agree with you on that one. And it's the whole concept of the friend, mentor, and leader, and blending all three into one person uh, is just phenomenal. Thank you so much for that. I'm blown right now.
Thank you, thank you. Even I was blown when I heard about this concept, so I thought, why not give it a try and see? And trust me, it brings magic in the relationship that you have with your team members. So to everybody who is listening out to us, please do give it a try and do give us feedback how it works for you.
I'm sure the audience will. Thank you so much for providing that insight, Lokamudra. Now, just to kind of wrap this interview up, do you have any final sound bites or passing remarks you'd like to leave our audience with?
No passing remarks. I can keep on talking. But yes, one last thing which I want everybody to leave with is, I'll just share, something which my father keeps on telling me. Even now, even if I call him, he keeps telling me the same thing. He still thinks I am that small, 10, 12-year-old girl who is seeking for guidance, who is seeking for his support, which of course I do. But yes, he told me a very important thing, and I keep telling it to my daughter as well. There are three things very important in your life which we should never compromise, which we should never ignore at any point in life. The first and the most important is your family, right? The people around you, the people who are dependent on you, be it your team members, be it your family members, your husband, your spouse, your parents, your in-laws. Please do take care of them, right? They need your time, they need your attention. While you are being busy, you are building something. We all know that you're doing it for them, but then it is very important, to listen to them, to be around them, to spend that quality time with them. And second important aspect was to respect our environment, right? He being a scientist and an environmentalist, he used to run an NGO, and I used to assist him, even from since my childhood, in sapling distributions, in plantation drives, and a lot of other stuffs. So he kept on telling me, even at this age, till this age, he has planted over some 50-60,000 trees. And yesterday only, I needed some guidance, and I called him. I said, Dad, I've got a plant, so how I need to put it in the soil. So he explained me the entire process with so much patience and in the same energy as he used to do, 35 years back. So yes, it is very important to take care of your environment. Be responsible for the environment, for the surrounding around you. And third most important aspect, being from a middle class family, it is very important for us to value and respect every single penny, right? So I still remember I seeing him, in some months he used to struggle in his diary, where he used to maintain his expenses and everything, and then it used to go into minus. But he never used to make that thing feel us that, okay, we don't have, now we need to compromise. So that is where I had learned to value the money. And while at that point of time, there was nothing coined, but right now, since I'm in corporate, I can so relate to what he was trying to tell me was, we are responsible for our people, planet, and profits. So this is a lesson, which I think is still valid, and all of us should try to imbibe as much as we can, because we just get one life, so let's make it extraordinary.
Wow, that was such a wonderful piece of advice you left our audience with. You ended it on such a great note: people, profits, and the planet. That was absolutely wonderful. And I think that's going to be the mantra for years to come, especially with so much climate change and other issues around us. Thank you so, so much for that lovely tip you provided us with. I'm sure our audience are going to benefit from it, and I personally will avail it thoroughly. And so, thank you. We shall surely stay in touch. I loved interviewing you, Lopamudra. I gained so many fresh and valuable perspectives from you. Can't be more happy right now. And thank you so much for taking out the time. You have a great day ahead and have a healthy time ahead of you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Anushka, for having me. I just hope this pandemic gets over soon and all of us are seeing, meeting, interacting with each other. Until then, you and your entire team are doing a great job. I think it's a great initiative that you're bringing so many people across the globe to share their experience and wisdom, because we learn a lot from people's experience. It teaches us a lot. So thank you so much once again, and I wish you all the best in your journey. And hopefully we meet again soon.